Now, for most of us, school has started. And with that, let's be honest, we all have struggles and things to work on this year. So in today's episode, I will be addressing some common struggles and what can help with both them in school and in work, along with my biggest struggle, all right here after our introduction.
Gym time? Yeah. Podcast time? Definitely. Time to work those confidence muscles.
Okay, bet. The Davis Knight Show, yeah! Welcome back. I am your host, Davis Knight, and this is episode 157 of The Davis Knight Show. And if you are new here, you will know what I am about to jump into is called our You Issue, where today we will be discussing, you guessed it, common struggles in work and school, as well as tips to help you with them. First up, my biggest struggle is putting things away and transitioning quickly in between classes. At one point, I decided on the last class of the first day, you know what, I have been late to every class this day. And now I am about to be late for pickup. And as I watched more students come in for an after-school activity and everyone in my grade leaving, I quickly shoved everything in and quickly put something I was supposed to carry in my hand in my backpack. I realized it was stuck in between a ton of binders, folders, textbooks, and devices. It was a complete mess. So what I plan to do is start keeping as much as I can in my bag, and when I am done with an assignment, put it in my binder until I have a chance to turn it in or give it to the teacher. And I will leave one binder, one notebook, and one pencil box out and designate a gap in my backpack to put the stuff in so it doesn't get stuck together and hard to reach. For the record, my backpack is small and extremely heavy with all the stuff in it that's beyond its capacity. Another thing, on homework, I see a lot of people being assigned homework to get it done in the car ride to school because they forgot to do it. The best thing I would do is if you know you wouldn't want to do it later or you're too busy later, start as early as you can. And if it's due like the next day, start it in the car ride home. The first 5 minutes is normally the hardest, and only when completely necessary, have things that can distract you, like noise, screens, or other things that have distracted you before. This is the same deal at work. Another one that applies both to work and school, sometimes your teacher will give you 1,000,000 assignments at once. At work, your boss is sending you 1,000,000 emails with different things to do, or something else like that, and you don't know where to start. I often organize things by category, and if different stuff is due at different times, get the stuff that will be due early first, or get the harder stuff done first so you don't run out of time. And also, I cannot emphasize enough, do not be afraid to ask questions. It is not a waste of time, and it's better than getting a bad grade, or at work, worse, getting an important job done wrong. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. Quote by Confucius. And in James 1:5, if any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. Whether it's a teacher, a boss, or especially God, they will not judge you if you ask them a simple question. I hope this helped you today, and that is the end of our You Issue, but don't click off just yet. Now, it is time for What in the World, where we discuss all things news. The big story this week is the USS Abraham Lincoln, one of America's aircraft carriers, has been out at sea for more than 250 days supporting operations related to Iran, one of the longest modern deployments. Families and lawmakers raised concerns about the long time away and the conditions on board. President Trump said the deployment was not nearly long enough and confirmed the ship is being replaced soon as part of a planned rotation. Acting Navy Secretary Hung Carl said The crew crushed their deployment and will get a hero's welcome when they return. President Trump also signed a new executive order on child vaccines. It recommends fewer routine shots for all kids, down to 11 diseases instead of the previous much higher number, and puts more decisions back with parents and doctors. It also encourages states to respect religious and medical exemptions. Next up, in Florida, Governor DeSantis has been talking about things like the future of transportation, such as things like air taxis and autonomous vehicles, saying Florida is preparing for that technology. And of course, also, school is underway across the state, with heat advisories still common, so it's technically still really summer. Also, a quick reminder, this week, 3 states are holding their primary elections: Alaska, Florida, and Wyoming. All 3 vote on Tuesday, August 18th. A quick reminder what a primary is. It's the election where the party picks the candidates who will run in the big November election. Think of it like the tryouts before the actual championship game. Here's the quick breakdown. Florida is having what's called a closed primary, which means you only vote in the primary for the political party you are registered with. They'll be choosing candidates for the governor and state Congress. Alaska does things a little bit differently. They use a top 4 system where all candidates appear on one ballot and the top 4 move on. Wyoming is running more traditional party primaries. It's just like in Florida. Next, on Trump's ballroom, which the lower court said no to, Trump asks the Supreme Court resolve it, which is the highest court in the country. In some science news, a lot is going on, starting with a new blood test that looks for chemical changes in DNA, spotted more than 90% of lung cancers. And you may be wondering, how much does this cost? $60. That's it. In some more exciting news, NASA's giant space telescope is almost ready. NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope is getting very close to its big day. In late July, technicians finished loading it with fuel, about 290 gallons of hydrazine, at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. The current target is a launch no earlier than August 30th, 2026, in a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. And as for the day I'm recording this, that is in a short 14 days. Okay, now that I've filled your brain with information, it is time to use information from your brain using unrelated trivia. Question 1 is Florida themed. In 1818, which general led a military campaign into Spanish Florida that helped push Spain to eventually give the territory to the United States? A. Andrew Jackson, B. Winfield Scott, C. Zachary Taylor, or D. William Henry Harrison? I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is A. Andrew Jackson. His invasion of Florida during the First Seminole War put heavy pressure on Spain and helped lead the Adams-Onis Treaty of 1819, where Spanish handed Florida over to the U.S. Question 2 is U.S. history themed. What U.S. president was the first to be born after the Declaration of Independence was signed? A. John Quincy Adams, B. Martin Van Buren, C. Andrew Jackson, or D. William Henry Harrison? I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is B. Martin Van Buren. He was born in 1782 in New York, making him the first president who was never a British subject. Question 3 is technology themed. In what year was the first email sent? A. 1969, B. 1971, C. 1976, or D. 1983? I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is B. 1971. Ray Tomlinson sent the first networked email between two computers sitting next to each other. He also chose the @ symbol that we still use today. Question 4 is gaming themed. What was the first commercially successful video game? A. Pong, B. Space Invaders, C. Computer Space, or D. Pac-Man? I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is A. Pong. Released by Atari in 1972, it was the first video game to become a widespread commercial hit in arcades and later in homes. Question 5 is sports themed. What athlete is the only person to win Olympic gold medals in both the Summer and Winter Olympic Games? A. Eddie Egan, B. Jim Thorpe, C. Babe Didrikson Zaharis, or D. Michael Jordan? I'm going to give you a minute to think. Okay, the correct answer is A. Eddie Egan. He won a gold medal in boxing during the 1920 Summer Olympics and another gold medal in the 4-man bobsled during the 1932 Winter Olympics. And besides him, no one else has ever done it. And that concludes our trivia. Let me know how many you got right. Now time for the fun stuff. Are you ready to smile? We're going to tell a joke. Drum roll, please. Joke of the week. What game do device trackers play on the playground in school? Any guesses? Air tag. Haha, get it? Air tag in the game tag. Speaking of that, it's time for a tech tip related to tracking devices. Something you should probably know is many companies make trackers that work just like AirTags that work for Android devices. For example, the Motorola MotoTag works on most Android devices using either the MotoTag app or the Google Find Hub app. There are other ones, for example, Samsung SmartTag. But keep in mind, as far as my knowledge goes, this one only works on Samsung Galaxy devices. And I hope that helped. Before we close down today's episode, I'd like to note I have partnered with Advent Health, a nonprofit hospital to help destigmatize children's mental health. And you can help out by donating. To donate, please go to www.thedavisnightshow.com. And then, under the About Us section, you see the link to donate. And if you can't donate, please remember to rate and review my podcast. Or if you're on YouTube, consider subscribing. I hope I helped you today. Thanks for listening to The Davis Knight Show. Go and have a great day, and make sure to smile.